I've been waiting for this day. 2024 has been alight with excitement for a bike that could be a game changer. Finally, Triumph Speed 400. Do you realise that? I think it must be for 3 years now. Royal Enfield has had the market completely to themselves. Just think about it. They came out with the Meteor, they've had the Himalayan at 440 cc's. Meteor started doing well, and then they thought, right, let's bring out some other stuff. Why don't we bring out a classic 350? That's doing well. Okay, we'll bring out a Hunter, and let's keep going and going and going, and let's bring out a Gorilla as well. And they probably didn't realise what was going on. Why do we have this market to ourselves? Why are we having all this success and no one's copying? Finally, 2024. Triumph Speed 400. But don't think that this was just some whim, some off-the-cuff decision. Let's quickly bang out a 400cc bike. This took far, far longer than that. 10 years in some form or another. This has been in the process. All the way back in 2014, Triumph were maybe not that close, but that close to coming out with a 250cc bike. But at the last minute, for whatever reason, maybe they didn't think the market was ready for it, they pulled the plug. Then 2017 came along and Triumph started talking to an Indian company called Bajaj, fourth biggest motorcycle manufacturer in the world. And they teamed up to create, after 7 years of testing, research, the Speed 400 and its brother, the 400X. 5,200 pounds, 40 horsepower. Let's see if this is true. 100. Yeah, that's true. 170 kilos wet weight. Looks-wise, let's start off at the front briefly. Starts off quite Bonneville-esque. You get all of those retro nods that we as retro lovers demand. Single front headlamp. These gold forks, I actually really like these. Nice, solid front mudguard, single disc on the front. Coming around here, that, trust me as a Bonneville owner, that is pure Triumph Bonneville. And then the bottom engine casing, that is very, very Bonneville-esque. Move over to the back of the bike, and just quickly to say that it starts off quite Bonneville-esque. In the middle, it's quite Triumph Speed 1200. And at the back, it's a little bit more sporty. What do you get for 5,200 pounds? As standard, you get an exhaust note. I'll put the mic up here. Sounds very good. Very simple display. You have a button here with Tutcon, set, mileage, trip 1, trip 2, fuel. Are there rider modes? I will have to get back to you and find out, but it's all perfectly decent display-wise. I love this Indian tie-in because the Indians, every ounce as much as the Brits, understand what it takes to make a good-looking, characterful, successful retro motorcycle. And with the economies of scales that they've got in India, it's a match made in heaven. They've got, over in that part of the world, a proven track record of making excellent, excellent motorcycles. this it'll work out to be, I'm sure, much more than just a credible rival for the Royal Enfields. It was recently announced, I think a month or two ago, that Triumph worldwide has sold 50,000 Speed 400s and 400Xs since launch. 50,000. UK statistics to add to this. July 2024, the best-selling 125 to 500cc motorcycle, Speed 400. The best-selling retro motorcycle in the UK, July 2024, of any capacity at all. Can you guess? Speed 400 as well. I think, from the research I've done, the last small capacity, let's say up to 400cc motorcycle that Triumph made was all the way back in the early 70s. I believe it was called the Triumph Trophy 200. So it's incredible to think that it's been 50 years since Triumph have made a small capacity, affordable end of the spectrum motorcycle, and it makes you think. The big brands, for example, they know this works. Royal Enfield have proven that good value, small capacity motorcycles that look cool, that look retro, they sell like hotcakes. Think of all the success that Royal Enfield have had across the board. And now that Triumph have come out with this, boom, it's another sales phenomenon. But you've got the likes of BMW. Why don't they make a retro looking bike like the old R80s, but make it in some kind of 400cc setup? Of course BMW can do that. And then you look, the gaping hole, Harley Davidson. Why aren't Harley Davidson looking at this and thinking, let's make a 400cc Sportster, something that looks as close to the Sportster of old as possible, but make it with a 400cc engine. I guarantee for BMW, they would sell huge amounts of that 400cc, and I guarantee for Harley Davidson, they would also do the same, sell phenomenal numbers of bikes, if they would just do it. I love bikes like this because, more so than anything else, it takes bikes back to their roots. Motorcycles should be affordable modes of transport. It should be fun and enjoyment for the masses, and that is the exact magic of bikes like this. I try and not get too carried away with the bike reveal videos, not say too much until I've really got a chance to feel what the bike is like, but certainly from an agility point of view, this bike, it almost feels like a 125cc bike. That chuckability and the lightness, it is a very, very engaging bike to ride. This is a frustrating video because you probably don't realize it from the light, but we started filming at 6:40 in the morning because yesterday we filmed the video for, in fact, it was 2 days ago we filmed a video for the Speed 400. We were editing it yesterday night at 10:30 p.m. and suddenly realized the audio was faulty. So it was unpublishable. But today, in 45 minutes time, I'm heading off to film a video with a German gentleman with a Suzuki GSX 1400. So we have literally a 1 hour gap by waking up at 6 a.m. to film this video. So this is the second attempt. So apologies. What I'm trying to say is I'm sorry that we haven't taken you to an exotic location for this video. A couple more bits I want to mention on the Speed 400. MSN rated this bike as 5 out of 5, and Bennett's rated also 5 out of 5. I know a good chunk of people who have downsized from bigger bikes to the Speed 400. I know someone who's downsized from a BMW 1250 GS to this. There's a definite trend in biking now. It used to always be people desperate for more and more power, always graduating to the next weight class, the next CC capacity class. But the change in what's going on at the moment is people actually enjoying these smaller capacity bikes, realizing, hold on a second, I've got a £20,000 bike there, and Jeremy has a lovely looking Royal Enfield Classic 350, and he's got a constant smile on his face. I want a taste of that. This is definitely happening in biking. Monica, do you know my favourite motorcycle? If I could only say one bike, what's my favourite?
Harley Davidson Deluxe.
Softail Deluxe. It's a very good shout. Any excuse for me to put the picture up here. Check out this picture here. Me, Harley Davidson Softail Deluxe in Tenerife. This was probably about 8 years ago, wasn't it? I rented this out, or I should say Monica rented this out for my birthday. And I had it for 2 days, and it's the most beautiful bike I've ever ridden in my life. It was such a special bike. I swore to myself that one day I would own this bike, but that's not my favorite ever bike. Nor is it, and this is close, this is really close, nor is it the Triumph Bonneville. That may surprise you. If I had to say one bike is my favorite ever, it is the Royal Enfield Classic 350, and here's the reason. Just like with cars, it's incredibly easy to make cool, characterful vehicles, whether it's cars or motorcycles. If you've got a budget of charging £20,000 for that vehicle, even £10,000 for that vehicle, the really difficult thing is being able to make a genuinely cool, classy, classless machine that anyone from a millionaire would want to buy to someone who's working on minimum wage, a dream machine for the masses, something like Mini did all the way back in the 1960s, and also you could argue to a lesser extent the Fiat 500 as well. That's what the Classic 350 did. It did something that hasn't been seen in the motorcycle market for a long time. It brought a genuine level of desirability to the small capacity market. That's what it did for me. I remember when the Classic 350 came out, I could not believe that a bike like this could be for sale for £4,000. And what I hope to find out with the Speed 400 is, look, can it match the character, the soul of the Classic 350? I'm not so sure, but what it may lose out on in the soul stakes, can it make up for it in the dynamism, the agility stakes? That's what I'm really curious to find out over the next couple of weeks. There's no time, I've got to go and get ready, change my outfit and head off 1.5 hours to the coast. So we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Have a brilliant day all. See you in the next one.